Hi, my name's Isabella Willing. I am an artist on Neighborful Station and also in my free time. Definitely in terms of art, I prefer painting. Um, Definitely pieces where they tell a story. My favorite reactions in the entire world are where I am showing somebody a piece of art, and then the second that I start to explain it or maybe give a little bit of backstory behind, if it's a portrait, what it's a backstory on the person, or if it's a landscape, it's a backstory on what that scene means to the story. My favorite is when I get reactions of, oh, so definitely pieces that tell more of a story as opposed to a still life or something that's a little bit more technical. Those are definitely my preferred pieces. And also, in my free time, I definitely like to explore different mediums. I enjoy failing, I enjoy getting my hands dirty and trying new things. Recently, I tried woodworking. Never done that before. I also bought a big thing of clay. I was playing with that for a couple days. Never done that before. So, definitely exploring my abilities, but also exploring different ways in which I could depict the same story. I find that very interesting. So, in my free time, I definitely like to explore different ways about creating. Of course, for Neighborful, I get a script before and I get to read that and kind of create stories in my head that are maybe in addition to the script. And so, definitely being able to depict things that way, but also in my free time. I really enjoy doing portraits, whether it be of people, pets, whatever the case may be, because I find that there's a lot of story in just looking at the person alone, being able to look at their eyes, at their expression. And so recently I had done a commission of a pet who recently passed, and being able to see the audience's reaction to that really meant a lot to me. And also, portraits of people who mean a lot to me or mean a lot to whoever is the person commissioning me to do it. Those definitely mean a lot to me. I'm working on one right now of a grandparent, and so those definitely are meaningful for me. I definitely try to create something every day, even if it's just I'm jotting down a plan for my next project, or I'm planning out colors that I like together, sketching patterns that I like together. I always try to do something with my hands every day. But for example, last weekend I was road tripping, I was out of town, I didn't have any of my materials with me. So if my days get too busy in the sense that I don't have the resources that I need, I don't have enough time in the day, I definitely try to find inspiration outside. When I'm walking, murals are a big one. I love murals. I'm always taking pictures of them, especially because they're so large most of the time. There's usually a lot to pick out that you love, a lot to pick out that maybe you would do differently. But even on a smaller scale, if I'm going on a walk, I'm always taking pictures of logos, patterns, colors that I really like together. And so my camera roll is filled with tiny pieces of art that maybe most people wouldn't find, but I like to pick them out in my outside environment so that when I am finally back in my studio, I have all my resources in front of me. I can go back and get inspired like that. But I was walking down the street a couple months ago and I saw this big mural that was similar to one of the covers that I did for Neighborful, and I 100% ended up using it for inspiration. It was for um, farmers market. It was for the farmers market, and I had seen a mural that wasn't exactly that, but I really enjoyed the way that it was depicting the fruit and the sale signs and that kind of thing. So I definitely use that for direct inspiration, and I just think that was a really good example. I think that the journey of an artist is so different than most. It's, a lot of career paths can be very linear, and there are specific milestones that you're supposed to hit. The career of an artist is definitely not that. You're going to have your ups and downs. You're going to have times where you feel like maybe you shouldn't be doing this. Maybe you're not good enough to be doing this. you're always going to have people telling you, that you should be doing something different, but definitely having the motivation internally to be able to get over those mental obstacles is really important. And also just remembering that creating bad art is so much better than not creating anything at all. So even if I'm drawing something and I decide, you know what, this stinks. I don't like where it's heading. I don't like how it looks. You created that, and that is so much more meaningful than if there was nothing on the page and it was completely empty. And you can always throw it away the next day if you don't like it, but at the end of the day, that is still practice for you to be getting better tomorrow when you decide to pick up the sketchbook again. So definitely keeping in mind that creating something bad is so much creating something bad is so much better than not creating anything at all. And I think that's a really big part of the journey that people forget.